Hey guys, this is Full Stuffing Incorporated, and I am here to talk about something that came to my mind recently while I was trying to play Gravekeeper some, and honestly, I came to the conclusion that playing anti-meta is so freaking hard. I will explain why. And before we continue, no, including Thunder King Ryo and Satellar Knights does not make it automatically anti-meta. None of that random crap. I mean, like, decks that are dedicated to taking on this certain meta, or any other meta in general, really. You have to be very, very, very analytic when you try to play anti-meta. I mean, there are plenty of cards that can stop the metagame, just by existing on the battlefield. But the thing about that is that you need a consistent way to get to that card. You need a consistent way to get to that lockdown play if you're going to play anti-meta. It's not enough to just play one normal trap, one counter trap, that kind of crap. No, that's not enough. You need probably a continuous trap or continuous spell to stop such cards. And you need effective ways to maintain the lock. And that only works in a few metagames. Like, here's a few very powerful cards that I can mention that I can talk about for anti-meta for Zoo now. Cards like And the Band Played On. Cards like Summon Limit. King Tiger Wangu. Cards like that. Those I can easily consider to be anti-meta in this meta. Like, it wouldn't work that well against True Dracos, but then again, I'm just giving examples against Zoo. And if you wanted to go that far, I mean, if you're trying to build an anti-meta deck, you try to play in cards like Fog King or Massive Restrict. And in anti-meta decks, you have quite a bit of room for those cards. I mean, GKs can be considered anti-meta by nature, but it won't be anti-meta if it just plays by its own strategy and doesn't take on the entire metagame effectively. And I mean, I'm suggesting that you're not going up against Wind Witch Invoked or something. And considering everything, Gravekeepers right now are not an anti-meta deck. I mean, sure, you have cards like Royal Tribute, but that's limited to one. Book of Moon, limited to one. There's a ton of cards that I really, really would love to have come back, just so Gravekeepers can take them on. But right now, they're not a very good choice. Because True Dracos can strip out their spells and traps and get rid of more cards like your Necro Valley consistently, Dryden to get rid of a card immediately, and still Xyz Summon. Heck, just to throw it out there, I will say that it will be much better in the next metagame if True Draco and Zoo get hit, because dinosaurs are going to be even more of a thing. And considering that they're spellcasters, you can use cards like Spellbook of Knowledge so you can get that draw power that you need with Spellbook of Secrets. Just because Gravekeepers need that draw power to do anything, really. I mean, Carve Demise is great, but I'm sure it's going to get hit on the next list. And it combos off well with Gravekeeper's Descendant, just so you get, Gravekeeper's Descendant and Gravekeeper's Recruiter, so you can get a search with it too. And that is if you're including cards like Righted Spirit in your deck. That way you can get that monster back and still generate advantage. I mean, advantage is very important in Gravekeepers, but, I'm kind of drifting off too much into Gravekeepers here. In playing anti-meta in itself, it's a very satisfying feeling once you get it down. I'm going to say right now that it's one of the toughest things I've tried to do, and I'm still trying today. Pure Kaiju can be considered anti-meta by nature, but you need the cards that actually take those cards on. I mean, you can't play Massively Restricting Kaiju because, they need to tribute. And you can play against True Draco, but what are you going to summon? I mean, they have plenty of patchy matchups all across. I mean, True Draco and Zoo operate in completely different ways. Like, you can build a deck against special summoning, against weak monsters like Zoo, but you have it be susceptible to decks like True Draco, where they're just pure, unadulterated power. And they have draw power behind them. They have plenty of ways to get their monsters back, and continue on to tribute off their cards to destroy more cards and gain more advantage. And somehow those two decks work together. It's beyond me how they work, but still. And one of my biggest pieces of advice for anyone who's trying to play anti-meta right now, just try. Just keep trying on YGO Pro, on Dueling Book, whatever you are on, to test your deck consistently. And the side deck is going to be very important to you, depending on what kind of deck you're running. You could even scoop game one, and you could just adding all your side cards against True Draco, you're playing against Zoo, like it's programmed to face Zoo, or, the other way around. And I think you're going to drive your opponent very crazy in a tournament if you tried it. It'd be pretty funny, actually. I mean, if you're going to a tournament expecting to win playing anti-meta, please know what you're doing. Please. Because, honestly, I've seen so many people just try Thunder King Ryo and Stellar Knight and call them anti-meta, or Artifacts and Stellar Knight and call them anti-meta. That, in itself, is not anti-meta. Like, Stellar Knights cannot, and I repeat, cannot, without any kind of support, cannot take on True Dracos at all. Like, they can take on Zoo pretty well, actually, but they cannot, for the life of them, take on True Draco. And that's not a shot to anyone playing against the Stellar Knights. I'm just telling the truth. Like, you can try to argue with me about it, and hopefully I will come to an agreement that they may be able to do something. Like, I'm saying without support, they can't do anything against True Draco if they get Masterpiece. I mean, you're giving them Draconic Diagram back. You're giving them their cards back. And that gives them more access to Heritage. Using Draconic Diagram, again, it's very hindering to their plays. Unless you're using Mind Crusher to get rid of Draconic Diagram. But even then, they still have plenty of draw cards to go by. Like, for me, if I were to suggest how to build a proper anti-meta deck, build a deck. Put in some cards and engines that you want to try. Get a work document and record how many times you win and lose against the deck on YGO Pro or on Dueling Book. And whenever you change the build, restart the record. And the more consistently you get your record, the more consistent of an anti-meta deck you have. And it worked for me plenty of times. And it became more and more clear to me that anti-meta is very hard and time-taking to have properly done. But if you do get that down, I can see some success on a regional level. I mean, the YCS level would be pretty tricky. But if you do become a more effective anti-meta player, then I am sure that you will be able to take on the metagame very well. And, honestly, I played DDD. I played Synchron. Like, these decks are not hard to play depending on what you're doing. But it's way harder to build in the most effective way imaginable. And the meta is ever changing, and the bandwidth can drop at quite literally any time now. So I can understand the fear and frustration you may have if you don't want to take the time to play anti-meta and build anti-meta. But if you take the time and improve it, your skills will follow, your analysis skills will follow. Just don't overanalyze, and I'm sure you will do fine if you go on a local or regional level. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys like it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, join the fight for Army, and together we'll beat the meta. Talk to you guys next time, and hopefully you'll enjoy my next video, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Well over $100 for Apprentice Illusion Magician, huh? Well, I guess Obito lives with half a body, right?